We begin at the edge of an old human dream. For thousands of years, we looked up at the moon. Tonight, we go there to stay. The lunar gateway wakes up in silence, orbiting like a quiet guardian. Lights flicker on one by one. A station built not just from metal, but from hope. A starship slowly undocks. No fireworks, no applause, just the soft separation of two machines, and the beginning of something irreversible. It turns gently toward the surface below. Gray, ancient, waiting. An Orion capsule has carried 4 astronauts from Earth. Inside, hearts beat faster than the guidance computers. They float through the hatch, steady hands hiding nervous smiles. 2 of them move into the human landing system. This is the moment history narrows to 2 human beings. There is one last look back at the station. One quiet nod. No speeches. Just understanding. They are not here to plant a flag. They are here to build a future, to turn dust into shelter, to turn distance into home. This is not exploration anymore. This is commitment. The beginning of the industrial age on the moon. Not loud, not dramatic, but steady, relentless, human. In a silent vault beneath the surface, strands of human DNA are placed into cold storage. A fragile species making a promise to survive. If Earth ever falls silent, something of us will remain. Above, small satellites circle the moon like watchful fireflies. They search the darkness for frozen water hidden in shadow. At the South Pole, rovers crawl slowly across the ancient terrain. Their wheels press into soil untouched for billions of years. Drills descend carefully into the regolith. Ice lies beneath, locked away in permanent night. When it melts, it becomes water to drink, air to breathe, fuel to rise again. Every drop is a victory against emptiness. Nearby, robotic explorers slip into lava tubes. Once rivers of fire, now silent caverns of protection. Their scanners trace the walls in glowing lines, mapping tomorrow's neighborhoods. Engineers begin mixing lunar dust with plant-based binders. Gray powder becomes something stronger, bricks shaped from another world. The first habitats arrive at the South Pole. Modules connect with a metallic embrace. Inside, machines hum, air circulates. A new kind of home exhales for the first time. On Earth, leaders gather around long tables. They sign agreements to protect the first footprints ever left on the moon. Tranquility Base is declared a site of human heritage. Even in expansion, we choose remembrance. Outside the habitats, an invisible shield comes alive. An electric field dances across panels and suits. Lunar dust, sharp and stubborn, is pushed gently away. Technology learning how to live with the moon's temperament. A deep space communication network powers on. Signals travel between Earth and the moon without silence in between. Voices no longer feel so far away. New command centers rise. Walls of screens, soft blue light. People on Earth watch heartbeats from 384,000 kilometers away. Construction begins on another lunar base, the International Lunar Research Station. Different nations, different languages, the same horizon. Competition exists, so does cooperation. The moon becomes a shared responsibility. Experiments begin to turn lifeless regolith into living soil. Microbes are introduced carefully, patiently. Life teaching rock how to breathe. At the Artemis base, a small launch vehicle stands ready. Its tanks are filled with fuel made from lunar ice. For the first time, the moon gives birth to its own fire. Engines ignite. The vehicle rises slowly, leaving behind a cloud of silver dust. It is a quiet revolution. The ability to leave without Earth's help. Deep space transports begin moving between lunar orbit and Mars. Cargo, equipment, human dreams, all passing through this new gateway. The moon becomes a stepping stone, not a destination. In orbit, astronauts perform maintenance in silence. Metal against vacuum, breath steady inside helmets. Then one day an alarm cuts through the calm. A solar flare warning flashes across every screen. Radiation storms race toward the surface. Astronauts move quickly into shielded habitats. For a moment, humanity remembers how small it still is. But the shelters hold, and life continues. Inside a growing dome, something unexpected happens. Green leaves stretch toward artificial light. A greenhouse begins to glow against the gray horizon. They call it the Lunar World House. Plants recycle waste. They drink carbon dioxide and return oxygen. They soften the harshness of the void. Crops are carefully engineered to endure radiation, to grow in weaker gravity, to survive where nothing once could. The base expands faster now. New modules arrive. New faces step onto the surface. 3 days from Earth and yet another world away. 2 major bases stand at the South Pole now, Artemis and the International Lunar Research Station. Over 20 nations maintain a presence. India, Mexico, Australia, Germany. Voices from every continent echo through lunar corridors. Above them, 2 orbital stations serve as transfer hubs. Shuttles glide between orbit and surface like patient ferries. This is no longer a mission. It is a system. It is an economy. It is a beginning. Rovers per hardened regolith over inflatable domes. Layer by layer, dust becomes armor. The astronauts joke and call them hobbit houses. Warm inside, protected from micrometeorites and radiation. Beneath the surface, lava tubes are converted into shelters. Stable temperatures. Thick rock shielding overhead. Ancient volcanic scars becoming future cities. Mining begins slowly at first, then faster, then competitively. Excavators carve into the regolith searching for aluminum and titanium. Rare earth elements are extracted from the silent ground. Helium-3 becomes the whispered prize, a promise of clean fusion power, if humanity can master it. Companies rush to secure contracts. Nations negotiate zones of operation. The moon, once untouched, now feels the weight of ambition. Without careful regulation, tensions rise. Diplomats work as hard as engineers, because survival is easier than peace. Meanwhile, a bold experiment begins. A small asteroid is nudged carefully into lunar orbit. Humanity learning to redirect mountains in space. Factories assemble components using lunar materials. Metal printed layer by layer inside pressurized workshops. Rockets no longer arrive fully built from Earth. They are born here. The crater telescope activates on the far side of the moon. A vast dish carved into ancient rock, shielded from Earth's radio noise, listening to the earliest whispers of the universe. It searches for light from before the first stars existed, for answers older than time. A treaty is signed limiting mining on the far side.
All right,
Science is protected.
Copy.
Discovery is preserved. Tourists begin to arrive. Hotels with wide windows facing Earth glow softly at night. Guests stand silently watching the blue planet rise. Some cry, some laugh, some simply stare. On the dark side, explorers experience a different silence. No Earth in the sky, just endless black. It is beautiful and deeply unsettling. Back on Earth, a lunar jobs board goes live. Bartenders, farmers, technicians, musicians. Training programs fill quickly. 2 months of preparation for life under low gravity. Graduates receive certification for lunar deployment. A new accent begins to form among long-term residents. Words blend, languages soften. A spaceborne culture quietly emerges. Mirrors rise atop light-bending towers. They reflect sunlight into shadowed craters. Darkness retreats. Solar farms drink in the redirected light. Energy flows across the settlements. Magnetic cargo lines stretch between hubs. Robotic carriers glide soundlessly along tracks. The float lunar railroad becomes reality. Laser stations powered by solar arrays begin testing. Beams push experimental solar sails outward into deep space. The moon transforms from frontier to launch pad, from outpost to civilization. Deep beneath the surface, lava tubes are transformed into vaults. Cold, silent, secure. Seeds from every continent are stored in cryogenic chambers. Genetic libraries hold the blueprint of forests, oceans, and life itself. Human DNA rests beside samples of crops and animals, a quiet backup of an entire planet. Nearby, vast data archives glow in the dark. Digital knowledge, art, history, languages, music recorded centuries ago. AI systems catalog and protect it all. They are not rulers. They are librarians of civilization. The Earth Legacy Project reaches completion. A symbol of caution, a symbol of resilience. If catastrophe ever silences Earth, the moon will remember. Above the vaults, the settlements continue to grow. Children visit on educational missions. Students conduct experiments under lower gravity. New generations see the moon not as myth, but as reachable. Magnetic cargo lines expand between bases. Shuttles rise and fall with practiced rhythm. Asteroid materials feed lunar factories. Industry hums steadily beneath the quiet sky. The industrial age slowly shifts into something else.
All teams,
tourism,
status.
research,
across the board.
exploration.
Prepare for ingress.
Not survival anymore, but growth. On certain nights, astronauts gather outside the habitats. They stand facing
Look at
Earth,
that.
a blue
It's
sphere
home.
suspended
It
in
never gets
perfect
old.
darkness.
Every time.
Borders
Puts everything
invisible.
in perspective.
Conflicts distant. Home fragile and radiant. Some whisper messages to family. Some sit in silence. Some simply breathe. Because even here, 384,000 kilometers away, human hearts beat the same. The moon does not replace Earth. It reminds us of it. It teaches patience. It demands cooperation. It rewards courage. This new civilization was not built in a single leap. It was built in quiet steps, in careful engineering, in late-night debates, in moments of fear, and in stubborn hope. The industrial age began with machines and metal, but it matured through community and culture, through shared responsibility, through the understanding that expansion without wisdom is fragile. The moon hums softly now, not empty anymore, not wild and untouched, but alive with intention. If one day disaster strikes Earth, humanity will not vanish into silence. There will be lights on the lunar horizon. There will be voices in the corridors. There will be seeds waiting in the dark. The story will continue, because we chose not only to explore, but to preserve, not only to survive, but to remember who we are. And under the quiet glow of reflected sunlight, the moon becomes more than a destination. It becomes a promise that life once begun will always reach for the stars.